So welcome everybody to the Billionaires Club meetup group. Let's just take a moment, kind of let go of the day, kind of breathe it out, shake it out, your arms and legs. Breathe in that powerful, positive energy that's in the room. Get kind of excited about what we're going to do here today. And then set your intention. What is it that you want to get out of the meeting today? What's important to you? And just set it, forget it, let it go. Kind of set it out to the universe and see what happens. So who is new to the Billionaires Club? We have a few newbies here. All right, good. We always have about a third of the people here are new, which is wonderful. The group is, since we took it over a year or 2.5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah, it's we went from 600 to I think we got over 1,300 people now. So love it when you guys come out and want to share in the message and help us create this new paradigm for the Detroit area. Who's new to law of attraction itself? Maybe you heard of it, but you don't really. One.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually a couple, 2, 3. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, the neat thing about law of attraction is you were born knowing it, just like you were born knowing about gravity. And we'll help fill in the gap, but it's very natural. It's a built-in law of the universe, and so we're just kind of put some pieces behind it so you can actually start leveraging it to your benefit. It's like when you learn gravity, you fall down a lot. But once you learn how it works, you learn not to fall down, and then life's a lot better. So it's the same with the law of attraction.
The thing is, when you're little, nobody teaches you the law of attraction. It's still there, though.
Yeah, most people aren't aware of it yet, but that's changing.
Yep.
So my name's Kevin Young. My wife, Suzanne, and I are partners in Personal Success Programs, which is a coaching and training company, and we do mostly law of attraction kinds of work. We have Mimi Brown is actually stuck in traffic. She's kind of our third in command. She's a public speaker and TV personality and all that. I think she's still somewhere between here and Jackson, so I don't think she'll make it tonight. And then our support staff, let's see, we have a light staff today. We've got...
Susan's stuck in traffic, too.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah,
so Susan will be here.
Oh, here, she's here. Yay, there she
Hey,
is back
Susan,
there.
all right.
That's one of our support staff, Susan.
So Susan's here, and then Kathy, you met at the table.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yay, Kathy.
Deb helped get you guys in here.
There she is.
There. Came and went quickly.
Dancing back there.
So it's an all-volunteer organization, so we couldn't do it without these guys. So
Yes.
The Billionaires Club, our mission, we were created as a place for like-minded souls to gather and share knowledge and experiences around the universal law of attraction. So that's all we do here, guys. Anything to do with the law of attraction and the components that make it up, that's what we talk about here. Our vision for the group has been to build a community of naturally influential and self-empowered, self-responsible leaders to help return this Metro Detroit area back to its world-class status, its aligned status. A lot of negative energy over the years, collapse of the auto industry to some degree and so forth. Well, that's all energy. So all you got to do is be one of the participants who helps raise your own energy, and you become a radiant example for others. And you literally lead by who you are. So no work involved except taking care of yourself. Get yourself in alignment and learn how this works, and then you become a natural leader. So you guys are the ones who are changing the face of the Detroit area just by being a better version of you. So well done. You can tap yourself on the back. Good job, me. So we only have one rule with the group, which is really more of just a guideline, just no open solicitation in the group. Don't bring your flyers and hand them out to everybody, or on the email or the meetup group. And that's just because it doesn't work. Law of attraction doesn't work well when you do those kinds of things. And we don't do that either. We don't advertise our own products here.
But after the meeting, you're welcome to chat with each other and talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, please do. After open networking, I want you guys to get to know each other, because these are the people you want to do business with. These are the people you want to have friends in your life, because they understand that it's about taking responsibility for what you create in your life. And those are the people who are a lot of fun to be around. A little housekeeping, please turn your phones off, or silent mode, vibrate, stun, pleasure mode, whatever you like. I mentioned we are recording the meeting tonight. We have made some of these available online. The mix doesn't come out that great in the church, so we're kind of more keeping them for the archive right now. Another thing that we're doing as a company that ties in here is Law of Attraction roundtable calls. They're very similar format, but they're on the web. So you can call in from your computer or your telephone. Every Monday night, 7:30, we host a 1-hour call. They're free. So you can just sign up on our website. If you're interested, come see us. It's for, if you can't come here, we only do these once a month because there's a lot of work in creating the presentation, getting all the stuff here and everything. But we do these every week. So if you want a little recharge, and it's very similar, we have a topic every week that we cover, and then it's open discussion on the phone and on the computer. So you can actually participate, ask questions, get coaching if you want. So Law of Attraction Roundtable, just come see us if you're interested in getting on the mailing list for that. So what are we doing today? Law of Attraction success stories. Law of Attraction review will tie into the main subject, which is that manifesting anything that you want in 5 steps. I'm sure that there's at least 1 or 2 people in here who would like to know how that works. Everybody wants to manifest.
Who wants to know? Anybody want to know?
Anybody? All right. Good. I want to be sure you
Good,
weren't-
you're at the right room then.
Yeah, the Tai Chi is downstairs to the right. And Q&A anytime. This is an interactive forum. So if you got a question, if I say something, Suzanne says something, doesn't make sense and we don't explain it, put your hand up. Let's get the discussion going. Because chances are if you don't understand it, somebody else doesn't either. Or maybe I didn't explain it right or whatever. Okay, so there's always room for clarity. So please, this is an open forum. We want your feedback. Or if you got a success around something that we're talking about, you want to share that, how it worked for you. That's really important here. So one thing about Law of Attraction is you have to prove it to yourself. We can tell you how the mechanics work and our experiences, but you have to prove it to yourself because it's an inside job. It's your thoughts, your energy, which is coming out, which is being reflected back. So only you can change your vibration, is what we call it, the energy coming out of you, and only you can tell what's coming back to you. When you close that loop, you got it made. You got it figured out. Now life starts working in your favor. So that's what we're going to talk about in some more detail today, the mechanics around how that works. And then at 8 o'clock, as Suzanne said, open networking. Grab a cookie, some water, get to know people, chat. If somebody lights up for you, go talk to them because there's a Law of Attraction reason behind that. Trust your instincts. They always work. Questions or comments before we get started here? Nada? Okay. Still settling in from the drive over? I don't blame you. Well, we always kick off the meetings with Law of Attraction success stories. And that's just an example of where maybe you had some success, and we've always have something that occurred in our lives where we created a success using the understanding that we're the creator of our experience. So where you set something in motion and you let go of it, you do what we call getting in alignment. We'll talk about that a bit today. And then when you do that, you get guided towards something that's important to you. Or that thing comes at you. It just shows up in your life, something you've wanted for a while, and you don't do anything except get into this state of being, and then boom, it can show up. We want to hear about those stories. Because that's what, first of all, kicking off in a good feeling place it's a great way to start anyway. And also it helps us all, particularly for those who are newer to the Law of Attraction, helps us understand that this stuff really does work. There is a law of the universe, which is naturally occurring phenomena that causes energy to be attracted to itself. But you got to prove it to yourself. So that's what we're going to do now. So did you have anything? Because I got a couple.
You can do some and then I'll do some.
Okay. And then if you think of one as we're talking here, put your hand up and we want to hear from you. Well, one thing we attracted, which I think some of you attended, was our Billionaires Club summer potluck barbecue a couple weekends ago. Who was there? I know a few of
Anybody
you guys
there?
show up here. We had, 25 people or something.
Somebody left a hat, too. It's out there on the picnic in case it's you.
Yeah, they unattracted their hat.
Yeah.
So that's out on the table. Yeah, so the pictures are up on the Billionaires Club website. We had a wonderful time, attracted a perfect day, perfect conversations. Yeah, everything just worked out beautifully. When you set your intention and let it go, then you get guided to when the right time is to have a barbecue, for instance. You get guided to the right things to bring. And people then are guided to come to you who match the vibration, as we say. So we always set our intention up here of the enjoyment that we want to have, and then we had that experience. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the people who didn't show up. It just means that they weren't a match to what we were doing on that day. Another thing that's happened, I think since we met last, it might have been right around that time, is we attracted an intuitive business coach. Now, we've been looking for a business coach to help us expand and focus our business for quite a while. But I'm really picky about the people that we allow into our company because we're very small, and we're all about the alignment process. So we wanted to work with people who understand what we're teaching, right? Kind of makes sense, right? And this is pretty esoteric stuff for the mainstream. Like, you won't find this on CNN or on Fox News. Right?
Maybe someday we will.
Someday, we're hoping that they'll figure it out. Sooner or later, they're going to have to, because it's a worldwide sweep going on here. But so we wanted a business coach to help us out, but a lot of business coaches come in and they decide how your company should run, and they tell you, and they kind of urge you in that direction, and that was not going to work for us. We want them to understand what we're doing and be intuitive enough to tap into what we want and then help us get there. And all of a sudden, again, through what would seem like a random set of events, somebody on LinkedIn connected with somebody else and something didn't work, and then I connected with her, and then she connected back with me for some other reason, and all of a sudden, boom, we have this incredible intuitive business coach. And when I say intuitive, I mean she has the ability to read what's going on in our thoughts at times as we're having a conversation, and she reflects back the things where we're blocked inside, just by tapping into our energy. Now, anybody can do that. Anybody can be an energy worker. That's something you can be trained to do. That's one of the things that we both have some ability in to some degree. Even when I'm talking up here, I'm not reading off a script. I'm calling in some of that energy, and I feel some of the energy from you guys in the room as I'm doing this. It helps guide the conversation. But she's highly intuitive. And plus, she's an MBA, and she and her husband made millions of dollars on a business, and now she's coaching other companies. Okay, it couldn't be a better match for what we're doing. And did we do any work to get her? No, we got an alignment. Just set the intention of what we wanted. We want a good business coach to help get this company focused in the direction we want, because we got the material, we got the knowledge, but it's the business components we wanted to have some focus on. And boom, she contacted us, actually. Doesn't get better than that, folks. So we're really excited to see what happens in the next 90 days, because they're going to really high-speed focused workout with her. But it's really exciting already, and we've only been doing it a few weeks. I did want to ask if anybody had done the free-form writing exercise that we tried last meeting. I remember who was actually here. We did a meditation and then what we call automatic writing.
Was anyone here at the last meeting, perchance?
Yeah, some of you guys were. Any of you guys
Remember the
tried it?
free-form writing we were talking about?
Just curious if you had any success, because sometimes there's people will say, I tried that thing and I had this amazing experience. So, but we've got a fairly different group tonight. Okay, never mind.
Never mind. Next.
Yeah.
Oh, Susan back there. You've been trying it. Okay. You want to share?
What was your experience?
Cool.
Cool. I was very surprised, actually. It was great exercise last time, and kind of had an idea in my head where it was going to go. Of course, I have to control everything, right, at times. Well, it didn't go exactly as I thought. It came out very, very differently, and the focus was on receiving. And by the next day, I had a gal who had offered me something that I was really, really looking for and asking for, and we worked together. And within 16 hours, 24 hours, it was
Wow.
it was really, really wonderful. And like I said, I didn't expect what was going to be coming as I wrote, but the meditation was wonderful, and to just freely let your consciousness stream, it was amazing.
Nice job.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good job. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Yay. Give her
So,
a round of applause.
So just for those of you who haven't heard of this before, freeform writing is a way where you're opening up it's another way of connecting into that broader consciousness stream, where you do a meditation, which is just quieting your mind, do some deep breathing, and kind of get focused in one area so that your mind isn't chattering. And when you do that, then you float up the scale up near the top, and that's where the connection to the source is, the broader intelligence that's available to everybody. Excuse me. So when you do that, the next thing is then you just get a pad of paper and a pen, and you just write whatever words that you're hearing in your mind. Doesn't matter. They won't make sense. Don't worry about spelling or syntax. You just write as fast as you can. And you start doing that, and in maybe 5 minutes or so, all of a sudden, you'll start to get some coherence to the communication. I actually, when I do this now, I'll often have a question and answer series. I'll have a question will come up, and I'll just write, and then the answer will come out. And then I'll have another question, and then the answer will come out. And I do that for 15 minutes. I set on timer here on my phone for 15 minutes because I want to know that I went at least 15 minutes. And I've had some remarkable things pop up as I've been doing this. So that's what Susan was talking about. You guys can try that at any time. It's just do a little meditation to get quiet and then just write and write and write and write, and don't take the pen off the paper until that 15 minutes is
And
up.
don't worry about what you're writing. Just let whatever oddball thoughts go down and don't judge it. Just let it go.
Yeah. I find sometimes I'm writing so fast it's almost a straight line. I don't care about the words. The idea is that I'm making the connection, I'm getting the guidance. But when something important is there for me, I'll feel it, and then I slow down and I articulate the words. And then I underline it so I can come back to it and pick it up later out of the stream of nonsense that comes out. Hello. It's Mr. Robert. How you doing, man?
Did you want to sit next to each other? You okay?
Not that important, huh? For an hour and a half, you can be separated by 5 feet.
I have a success story I want to share.
Yeah, please do.
This is so fun. I met this gentleman 5 years ago, and he was interested. He wanted to know about law of attraction. He didn't know a thing about it. We sat for coffee. He came to our workshops and then got some coaching. But the fun part was when we first met him, he was just starting a business. He was worried about money. He didn't have any clients. He wanted to learn how to attract clients. And there was a lot of worries going on. But with the coaching and understanding how it all went, he just fell in love with the whole understanding. You can so empower yourself once you understand how this law works. So not only did he attract clients, he turned a relationship around with his fiancée. They'd been engaged for like 6 years, and in 3 short months of practicing what he'd learned, they ended up getting married because he just started feeling so good. So I hadn't heard from him in a long time, and he just called to see if I would sub for him in another networking group. And I said, sure, yeah, what's going on? He said, oh, I have this amazing story. You're not going to believe it. And I said, yes, I will. I know the law of attraction. But this is the fun part. As he continued to practice law of attraction, this is part of the 5-step process, just getting more comfortable and confident with it and learning how to turn, when you get a negative thought, turn it around quickly, catch it early, and keep always feeling as good as you can. That's when you bring the stuff to you without any effort. And he had a first cousin in Canada. They have a really big family. There's tons of first cousins, who was a single woman who never got married, never had children, and she passed away. And she left $70 million to all the first cousins, and he got 1.5. Now, this is something he totally didn't ever expect, but the amazing part is he manifested that. It wasn't just, he just knew by bringing the energy up and allowing himself to enjoy his life and quit worrying about all the things he was 5 years ago, he set the momentum going. And things like that can happen, and people say, oh, what a coincidence. But truly and honestly, when you really understand, he said, I did that, Suzanne. I said, I know you did.
It's a great story. Yeah. As you get more of the hang of how all this stuff works, you'll find out there are no random chances. There's nothing random in this universe. There's no good luck, there's no bad luck. Everything is attraction-based. Everything down at the lowest level of energy is attraction-based. So everything layered on top of that, including us, is attraction-based. So everything that's in your life is a reflection of who you've been being, what you've been sending out, what you've been transmitting. It's always a direct reflection back. It's not a judgment. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. But you're the one who has to make that connection. And what happens with a lot of people is we tend to numb our emotions. So we don't realize that we don't feel what we've been thinking. So we tend to push it down. We don't realize that we're sending out a whole bunch of worry, for instance, and that's what's going to start coming back to us. That's what we're going to attract back to us. That's just how the magic works. And so we say, oh, that just came out of the blue. And it did come out of the blue. It came in exact response to what we were sending out, but we didn't know it because we were ignoring the guidance that we were getting. So I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit here, but I just wanted to lay that foundation because we're going to get into these 5 steps here right now. So we're going to talk about, first of all, the 3-step manifesting cycle, which for those of you, I know some of you follow the Abraham-Hicks law of attraction material. They've been teaching law of attraction for 30 years or so, and they're sort of the modern day purveyors of this knowledge. But as I said, it's a law of the universe. It's like gravity. It's always been with us. It's just the understanding of it hasn't been there. And so the great thing is that they've brought it forward, and now people are teaching it like we are in our own style. But it's still a fundamental law that behaves a very specific way. And so this three-step process we're going to get into, and the last two steps are actually sort of a way of supercharging the step that's important to you. So there'll be additions. The three steps are what are important, and the last two are these amplifiers. Most people are confused about the role, about how they get what they get. We were just saying sometimes it seems random. But when you understand this cycle and then you start applying it, your life is going to change, folks. And I know some of you it already has. I know when I see smiles when I'm talking about it, I know you guys have already been there. So here are the 5 steps. We'll do the first 3 and kind of get into that. The first one is called ask. And that's when we have an awareness of something that we don't want. This happens all day, right? Something works out, you're happy. Maybe something doesn't work out, you're sad, right? In the sad moments, that's what's called a contrasting moment or unwanted situation. In that moment, you've identified what you do want, believe it or not. It's the equal and opposite of what you don't want, right? So if you don't have enough money to pay a bill or something, what's the equal and opposite? What's the ask? It's more money to pay the bill, right? It's always in the exact proportion, energetic proportion. Something goes wrong, maybe you spill your water or something. Well, in that moment, you have a desire to not have done that. That sounds kind of silly, but those always occur at the same time. And the ask part of it, the energy around the desire, is what is shooting out of us in that moment. And because we have access to a broader part of our own consciousness, and this gets a little bit esoteric, so if you guys are more scientific or practical based, you're going to have to bear with me until you prove it to yourself, okay? So who we are in these bodies, we're thinking and communicating with each other is typically about 1% of who we really are. There's 99% of us, more than that is consciousness. And it's at the energy level, so it's everywhere at once, like radio stations, it's everywhere at once. And we tap into it, just like I'm tapping into it right now as I'm talking, tapping into a broader guidance based on the energy I'm feeling in this room. So when you have this experience of something that you don't want, the awareness of not wanting it, and at the same time you have the awareness that you do want something that's opposite. But we get focused on the thing that we don't want, and then we dwell on that, and then we beat ourselves up for it, and because society criticizes us for making mistakes, we get all hung up on the thing we don't want, and we totally miss the desire that shot out. But that desire did shoot out of us, and it is registered, so to speak, with a broader part of us. So the universe always knows what we want. Always, always, always. Okay, everything that you want, since you've been a child moving forward, has been registered in this, what we call non-physical part of your own consciousness. The universe knows what you want and is trying to bring it to you all the time. And that's step 2. That's answer. So step number 2 is answer. The answer occurs by law of attraction. That's what the law of attraction is. It is the answerer to all vibrational energy. All that law of attraction does is it takes energy that vibrates at the same frequency and draws it together to coalesce, okay, within proximity. That's all that it does. It does that all day long. It has access to every last particle and energy wave in the entire universe simultaneously. So it's moving stuff around all the time simultaneously, just simply based on the frequency of the energies, bringing them together. Since you're generating your own frequency based on the thoughts you've been having, and you'll feel it in your solar plexus when you get tuned into yourself, that's what's going out, okay? That's what's coming back. Just that simple. So law of attraction is always answering you. It's always bringing back that energy. But the interesting thing is because we have these basically 2 points of our own consciousness, we've got the broader part which knows what we want, and then we got what we're thinking about right now, which is usually what we don't want, right? So you got 2 points of attraction going on at the same time. So all the stuff that you want is heading in your direction, but it can't.
Vibrationally.
What's that?
Vibrationally.
Yeah, vibrationally, and sometimes physically too, and it's really close. But guess what? It can't get to you when you're not on the frequency of it. Like you can't get the guidance. You can't see it. It can't get to you because you're blocking it. That's the only reason we don't have everything that we want in our lives. And that is step 3. Step 3 is align. And that's your work. So alignment is simply the process of tuning yourself and on the different categories that are open to you, important to you, to move up this scale to where you find harmony with the things that are important to you. Because if you think about it, the desires, the asks that have shot out of you, by definition, don't they feel good? Doesn't everything you want, by definition, feel good? Or you wouldn't want it, right? I'm assuming. Right. So your job is to get in harmony with that. So you got to bring your thoughts moment by moment, day by day, up the scale so that they're on the same frequency as the very things that you desire. It's sort of like if you were the radio stations, all the radio stations in the Detroit area are in this room, right? They're everywhere in this room. I can go in the back corner, I can get the same stations that I can get right here. Well, that's the same with this vibrational energy. It's everywhere at once. Doesn't matter where you are. All you have to do is change the frequency, and boom, you're tapped into it. So your job is to change your thoughts so that they move up to this frequency range, which is the frequency where that broader intelligence is, and where it's transmitting the instructions, the impulses, to you. So once you get into this range here, and you start, and you're feeling good, that's how you know that you're in that range, by the way. That's your indicator. It's how you feel, your solar plexus tells you. When you get up into that good feeling place, now you're on the frequency where you can start to receive the guidance that tells you which way to go and when to go and get a coffee. Yes, Deb, question.
You're saying you have to be up there in order to get that guidance.
So the question was, do you have to be up here to get the guidance? The answer is yes, to get the guidance to go directly towards the thing that you want. You're getting guidance all the time. You're getting impulses all the time. And sometimes we're down here so far on some subject, you can't hear that guidance, but you're going to get guidance, right? The guidance is always up. Right? The impulses that you receive when you're down here will always take you up the scale. A lot of us resist that, because when we're down here in fear or feeling depressed, and we get a moment of rage and anger that pops out of us, what do usually in society? You suppress it. Right? You don't want to get angry around people, right? Because then they'll judge you. Right? And then we get this whole back and forth judgment thing. And so then what people do is they'll get up here, they'll get that burst of energy to try and get out of the bottom here and try to move up. And they have to move into anger and feelings of revenge or blame. But then they feel guilty for doing it because other people then react, which we'll get into that some other time. Because you're not responsible for how anybody else feels, by the way, because thoughts create feelings, right? And you can't control anybody else's thoughts. So you're not responsible for anybody else's feelings or their experiences. They attract it. Just a little piece of advice there. So then we fall back down into guilt, and now we've done nothing. We haven't moved on the scale, and we can't get the guidance to the things we want. So we got to move up the scale. So if we're way down here, we always recommend people, and you do this in private. You don't do this around other people, okay? Big disclaimer on this. If you're truly feeling powerless on a subject, or you're feeling guilty or depressed, you have to get angry on that subject to get out of the bottom. It's just the path. There's no other path. You can change the subject. I mean, that's okay if that gives you some relief, but it doesn't clean up the vibration around the subject that's eating you. Okay? You got to address the subject. And so we recommend that people who have felt powerless around an individual or a situation, get off by yourself and very specifically and directly get angry, really, really angry. Find pillows to hit, doors to slam. I had somebody recommend a screwdriver and a cardboard box. Just go like Jason, you know.
You're doing this all by yourself, remember?
That's right. By yourself. Right? Bubble wrap, if you like that kind of thing. Whatever you can do to get the energy moving. When you feel yourself feeling revenge, how would they like it? You know, I hope something happens to them, then you're on the way. And when you get up here to blame, well, it's their fault that I feel this way, you're on the way, okay? And so I find that I do this very quickly now, and I still go down here. I still have some very deep traumas from my childhood, which pop up every once in a while. And I'll be going for a while if I'm numb to my emotions, which I am sometimes still. I was taught that way when I was a kid, and so I'm still getting the hang of this stuff. Then you feel that energy, and then I will find I'll knock something over, I'll stub my toe or whatever, and I'll realize I had this vibration going for quite a while, and it kept telling me, you're not feeling good, you're not feeling good, you're not feeling good, and I just ignored it. I'm so used to pushing it down. You can numb any part of your body with your mind. Well, the solar plexus is where you feel the emotions. So that's where feelings are. It's your gut feel. That's the pit in your stomach. It's right there. That's the sensor system, the nerves that are right there. So you get good at numbing that stuff, and then you don't get the guidance. But eventually you attract enough stuff at that frequency that it gets your attention. Sometimes it's got to be really big. Like my daughter called us on the way over here, and she just got in a car accident. She's 28, I think. She was rear-ended. And we've got a really good relationship, and we have lunch all the time. And she's actually pretty good at this stuff. But she said, I knew I should not have left the house under the stress that I was at. here we are. I just manifested a car accident. She was shaken, but she wasn't hurt. And now the next time she goes to leave the house under stress, what will she do? She'll stop and get herself back in alignment. So that's the whole purpose of the system, is that no matter how far you go down, there's nothing wrong with any negative emotion. All emotions are good. They're just feedback. They're telling you how you're doing. How are your thoughts doing? And if they're way down here at the bottom, well, you might want to stop what you're doing and get yourself up the scale a little bit before you do anything else. Question, comment?
Question.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about apathy or feeling numb.
Say again?
You're talking about apathy or feeling numb to your emotions.
Yeah.
That would basically be at the bottom of the scale then, not
Well, you
like
don't
towards
know.
the middle.
If you're numb, you don't know what the emotions are, and that's the problem. Right? Most likely, you're numbing them because they don't feel good. And that's why people drink. That's why they take drugs. That's why they shopaholics, foodaholics, sexaholics. All those things are ways to numb or divert from the feelings that are going on that they themselves don't know they're creating, because the thoughts are what create the emotions.
Yeah, that's the part.
Right? Does that make sense?
She thinks so.
Okay. Well, we'll
Are you
keep talking.
pretty new to law of attraction?
You
No?
got somebody
Okay.
else here? Right?
Good question. No? Oop.
Kind of on the same topic that she was just mentioning, the one thing that I noticed, I do follow Abraham-Hicks, Earl Nightingale, kind of started the whole thing, but that's where I started at, and then I kind of went to Abraham. But she'll say things along the lines of, if you're having a bad day, go pet a cat, pet the kitten, do something to make you feel good. And from my experience anyhow, when I'm having one of those kind of days, I'm like, okay, what is it that's going to bring me back up here? So instead of jumping into from angry to this to that, I'll try to figure out, maybe I should go write, because I do like to write a lot, or whatever makes me get in that feel good place. And then, it starts to go away, and then I start feeling the better vibration.
That is, it's a good technique. We call that distraction, and that's where you change the subject. Okay, and that gives you back some harmony in that moment, because you can only think of one thing at a time, right? So it's healthy for you to, if the subject's really irritating and you can't think of what to do about it, is to change the subject to something that feels good, because then you're getting relief, your body's getting relief, your point of attraction changes. However, when you go back to that same subject, you'll go back to the vibration you were at. Until you clean up a vibration on a specific subject, it stays there. But the advantage of distracting yourself on something else is you build some momentum in the positive direction. So when you go back to the subject, it's easier to bring it back up. As you said, maybe sometimes you'll find a little perspective, and it'll actually help bring you up. You'll get a broader view about that one thing that was bothering you. So it's a great technique to help out. And it doesn't necessarily affect the direct subject, but it can help the subject that's important.
Thanks
Thanks for bringing
sharing
that up. That was really good.
Yeah.
Mary Ellen?
When she mentioned apathy, I'm thinking, what about indifference? Isn't that like a emotion, indifference? Shouldn't that fit on there somewhere?
And probably boredom.
Boredom would be
Yeah,
way up
but
there.
more often than not, when people say, I just don't really care about that, they really, really do care about it, but they don't want to look like they care about it. Right? If you really don't care, then you don't care, right? Subject's not important
Then
to
it's
you.
not important, yeah.
But there's a difference, and this is where the idea of numbing the emotions comes into play, right? If there's a part of you that says, well, I don't want to care, but you do care, well, you care. That's what's coming out of you. If you're numbing your emotions, well, guess what? That doesn't change law of attraction one bit. That energy is still coming out of you. You just aren't feeling it, so you're not getting guidance that it's coming out of you. That's why it's really important to tap back into those emotions and start to really care and pay attention to how you feel, so you can get the guidance to know which direction to go. It helps you figure out where you are on the list. So a life that's being lived deliberately is one that has a lot of joy and passion and enthusiasm. Or sleep, one of the two. So when you're sleeping, you're not thinking, and when you're not thinking yourself down the scale, and by definition, you're up at the top. You get the reset every time you go to sleep.
I just wanted to add that I've had an experience where I was focusing on creating a love relationship in my life, and I think I was focusing on that way too much. So even though I was being positive about it, I was actually giving off a vibration of lack, and so I wasn't getting what I was trying so desperately to have.
There's the word.
Desperate is a word in there that is.
Very good.
And at this very same time, I like to write. And so I write out my dream or my intentions or, whatever you want to call them. And I had written one about my ex-husband where we were getting along and everything was great and he was cooperating and being good and helping the kids and all this stuff. And I completely forgot about that one. And whenever I get inspired, then I'll go back and I'll read them and update them, change things, add things, take things out, whatever. And I don't know, I'd written this 3 or 4 months earlier, and just kind of out of the blue, he became very cooperative and stuff. And then I realized, wow, I'd written this and forgotten it.
Very nice.
And that letting go is very important because when we're attached to an outcome, we give off desperation, lack,
Right.
I don't deserve this, whatever it is that you're actually thinking inside. Even though I was thinking positive thoughts, my vibration was not those at the same level.
There you go. Yeah, very good.
Thank you for
That's
sharing.
a very important point. Letting it go is one of them, is important. And then something you said about he changed. Well, the illusion is that, wow, I just changed that person by writing some things on a piece of paper. That's pretty cool, huh? I'm powerful. No, you're not. But you are from your experience, because what you've done is you've changed your rendezvous point, right? And so you attract people who are at the same frequency that you are, period. Everything in your life is the same frequency that you've been emitting. So when you intentionally raise your vibration, letting go of control is a great way to do it, as you said, Lisa. One of two things has to happen with everybody in your life. They have to either come up or they have to go out. Those are the two choices. Because law of attraction will not bring together two frequencies that don't match, period. So you can always tell by the people who are coming into your life, the experiences that are coming into your life, how you're doing, what you've been thinking. So what a great example of how to change the rendezvous point with the people. And you'd be surprised, people you've had an issue with your whole entire life will change just like Lisa did in front of your eyes when you do this vibrational work, or they'll go away.
For me, I think it's very important for me to know what I am asking, because sometimes when I ask for something, I pay attention to my emotions, and it's not coinciding with what I'm asking for. Yeah. For example, I too was asking for this very loving, passionate, fun relationship, and I was at number 11, feeling overwhelmed by that. And then when I took a few steps back, and I said, what I really would like is a date.
Good for you. Took the pressure off.
I would like
nice job.
to have a male companion to take me out on a date and just to go out and have fun. And I got a phone call because I was feeling optimistic instead of feeling overwhelmed about, oh my God, then we're going to get married, and then he has to move in with me, and I have to move in with him, and then blah, 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 blah. And my girlfriend was like, I'm done with men. Oh, they're terrible. And so my vibrations went very low, and then when I just said, I just want to go out and have fun and be on a date and, just see where it leads, get in the process of it, not just go from to 10 where we're married and we women, we do that all the time, and so that.
I could tell one or two people actually.
That's a good point, because when you get so specific on what you want, and then it can get overwhelming, and then all of a sudden you're vibrating a different thing. So going general, I just want a date. Lightened it up, you allow that to happen. So that was good manifesting.
Good job.
One thing I wanted to say, too, about the ex-husband and how the relationship improved, I really am starting to understand more and more how my expectations of what that relationship is going to be, how it affects things. And there's something subliminal about the pressure that we bring, that we put into that interaction by what we're expecting, and when I can just let go of an expectation, then it's like the pressure's off, and it does make things go easier,
It's a very good point.
Yes.
I do want to talk about step 2 a little bit more. Deb, you got a question?
But I thought we were supposed to think about what we want in detail.
That's a
Only
very
when
good
you're
point.
feeling good.
Yeah, because we were,
If it feels good.
it was actually a really good lead-in to the step 3, so thank you for reading my mind. Yeah, yeah, Deb does this all the time. That's being tuned in, and when we hear a question that is going to take us right to where we were going to go next, then that means you guys are syncing, so thank you. Yeah, so it's a bit of an illusion that we have to think exactly about what we want in order to attract it, okay? And you hear about goal setting, and I got to figure out what I want. I got to write it down. I'm going to make it happen. Well, that's kind of the slow, hard way. It works if you feel good about doing it that way. Feeling good is the key. It's not the list. The problem is that when we make a list of things that we don't have yet, what are we usually feeling about it? Lack. Yeah, because we don't have it yet. That's what Lisa was saying. Right? You think about something that you don't have. I had a vision board back. I had a brain tumor in 2008, removed in 2009, and I was wandering around the house with no place to go while I was recovering, and I came across the old vision board that I made, and it had a nice car and a vacation overseas, and I think even doing this speaking work, none of which I had, and it reminded me of that. It was like right in my face, like, oh my God, this vision board has turned into a reminder of everything I haven't accomplished. And I tore that sucker to shreds. It felt so good. And guess what? Now I have all those things. Right? You let them go, and they have to show up. It's just that simple. So if the list makes you feel good, then do the list. We do recommend that if you, like in a relationship, that's a pretty common one we coach around a lot, make a list of the attributes of the person that you want that would feel good. But be sure that every one of them feels good when you think about it. And when you go back to that list, if it doesn't feel good, then just don't use the list, right? So it always comes back to how do I feel in the moment? How does this feel? How does this feel? That should be the only criteria to anything that you do during your day. And if it feels good, then it's going to help you. So another part of that, then, again, is a great tie-in, is the idea of, well, then how does the stuff come to me? Well, as we've heard in some of these stories, it comes to you when you get into the alignment state. Oh, that's the only part you got to do. The universe already knows. Remember, it knows everything that you want because you've been telling it through all these contrasting experiences. I didn't like that, so I want this. I didn't like that, so I want this. I mean, moment by moment, you may have 10,000 of them every day where you're putting little bits and pieces of what would be perfect desires on all subjects into this energy field, which we call the vortex in the Abraham terms. Hang on just a second. So the thing is that the universe is trying to deliver this to you all the time because law of attraction is working on that energy as well. So it's all trying to show up in your life. The only reason it doesn't all show up is because you're not in alignment with it yet. That's all. So our job is only to get up here, and then we'll start to get the guidance to those things that we're nearest to, what we call the path of least resistance. Okay? Whatever the easiest way for the universe to get us to go that direction, or that direction, or that direction, that direction, to get to those things that are trying to come towards us, it'll be telling us in those moments. So that's all we got to do is get into the receptive field, get on the radio station where the impulses are being sent, and when you get a positive impulse and you get that surge that says, you know what, I got to go out for a walk today. I don't know why, but I have to go out for a walk today. I'm just feeling good. I'm going to go out for a walk today. You run into a neighbor who is looking for some service that you're selling and you couldn't sell, right? Or that's when the rendezvous occur, right? If you're following the impulses that you're getting while you're up here, then you cannot go wrong. You will go through doors and you'll meet people and you'll have circumstances and you'll go on the internet at the right time when everything will start to work out for you. So you don't need to be specific. Remember, step 2 is law of attraction. It's not your step. The how is none of your business. The universe already knows how. Right? Your job is to be in step 3.
But I hear about people being very specific. One of our friends who's not here tonight was saying how she was imagining the car that she wanted, and she would reach down and even feel the cording in the seat and the color. And
how do you
would
think
always,
that felt to her?
It felt great.
Exactly. So
and
that's
she
all
always imagined it. So
that's all you got to know.
So when you're feeling great, should you be thinking about these things? Because that's what I thought
Sure.
too.
Yeah. Always, it's always the same thing. Thoughts create the feelings.
If the universe already knows, then why should
You don't have to. So you said, should you be thinking about it? No, you don't have to. You can have one dream, one desire, happen to have a fleeting moment of what it might be, and let it go. And the universe already has it registered and is ready to give you.
forget about it?
Yes. Because when I went through my second divorce, verbally abusive, alcoholic man, 2 times in a row, I realized I never want to go through this again. And I began to realize spirituality is something I had never focused on. So I started getting into spirituality, Joel Osteen, and all kinds of cool things. And I started saying, gosh, if I ever have another man, I'd like to be spiritual. Now, I quickly let it go because I was hating men at that time. I wasn't going to sit there and work hard to try. I mean, who cares if I ever have another one? But, but at the time, that was a fun thought. Like, if I ever do have another man, I'd like him to be spiritual. Now, my next journey, and this is how I know how this all works, is just I kept searching for ways to feel good through this second marriage falling apart and thinking like I'm a big loser. But I kept searching and searching, and I finally, eventually, my attorney sends me to a meditation class, and I meet Kevin. Now, did I know we were going to fall in love and get married and open a company? No. I just wanted to keep feeling good. So I kept going to this follow-up meditation meeting that the teacher was putting, and so did he. And over the year of the divorce, we became spiritual friends. Were we madly in love? No, we were just friends, enjoying life, trying to find ways to feel good. Since we've been through this is why it's so fun for us to share, because we have a true knowing. This stuff really works. Did we know all that before that? No. We just went along the way, and then when we learned about it, we thought, oh, that's why that happened. That's why that happened. And you'll see it too. You don't have to work hard at it. You can have that fun lesson, let it go. And then every day, find ways to have fun and feel good. And the universe says, well, here you go. Here's another little step closer to that guy. It won't be him yet. It'll be something else.
Well, I think kind of in line of what you're saying is like we're a magnet and we're attracting to us. And so the bigger we can dream, the bigger like when she's feeling the cords in the car seat, and the bigger we can dream, even if it wasn't. I mean, other good things probably were coming to her too because of her feeling so good about that. And if we can just get into that, realize that we're magnetized and we're bringing to us. And so you can't just think about it and forget it in a way, as long as
Sure you can.
good things.
Yeah, you can think about it and let it go.
Yeah, you can.
It's
You
up
can.
to you. If thinking about it makes you feel good, then you're on the right track. One thing that's again, this is kind of nebulous stuff. It's really hard to, in a three-dimensional world where we're used to touching things and everything has a place and a location and scientifically makes sense. This stuff doesn't make sense.
Well, I think what I really mean is just that you just keep feeling better and better about whatever it is you're doing, and you're putting that magnetism out.
Sure.
Not that
You're putting the high frequency, good feeling vibration out that will bring you the results of that desire.
the vortex has it all there waiting for you as long as you can meet it.
all you got to do is open up to the rendezvous. Yeah. It's so simple. And the interesting thing is, like for your friend who was feeling the leather in the seats and feeling really good. Well, guess why that felt good? It's because she had already put that into the vortex. She had already had that desire earlier on and had the awareness that that's what she wanted.
She thought this is how she was attracting it, though, and she got the exact color
Well,
and everything.
sure.
Of that car she was imagining.
She had the exact
Very
color.
possible, yeah.
Yes, but the point is that she had already determined that in the past by things that she didn't want.
Concentrating on it didn't help boost it.
Concentrating, again, it's only about
That sounds
how
like
was she
hard work.
feeling.
I got to
Yeah,
concentrate.
this is not hard work.
Let me
folks.
concentrate so
It's
it'll
not
come.
hard. We got one in the back and then one over here.
Okay.
And then we got to get on to the rest of the discussion here. It's a great discussion, guys.
Actually, this reminds me of the commercials right now for Realtor.com where Elizabeth Banks is sitting in a bathroom with someone and the person is imagining their ideal bathroom, and she says, guess what? I just found this for you. This is a real place. And what we're talking about reminds me of those commercials. It's like they're manifesting what they're wanting.
Yeah, it does work like that. This is great, how great that we're actually seeing it on TV, even if they don't understand it.
Kind of to touch base on what she was talking about, I'm going to share a story with you guys. It just happened to me, what was it, last weekend when it rained really bad. Now, I've been following the law of attraction for a while, and my life has completely did a 360, 100% of the way this year. As to where I was last year to this, completely different. And I've seen so many things come into my reality. Well, the one thing that just happened was my kids know I like to see rainbows, okay? So I'm looking and I see a little glimmer of sun coming out the window, and I run outside. I'm like, ooh, I want to go see a rainbow. Now, my youngest is 16. They all think I'm crazy, every one of them. They're like, you're not going to see a rainbow. I'm like, how do you know? So I go outside. I start looking. I look across the street. I'm looking at the clouds, and I get real, I think clouds look cool. So I'm taking, pictures and whatnot. I'm like, well, I guess there's not a rainbow. So I walk back towards my house. My house is a corner house. And I'm looking and I'm squinting at the clouds and I see a glimmer of a rainbow. And I'm like, oh, there is a rainbow. But it wasn't just that, and it's really very dull and you could barely see the color, but it's not just a rainbow. It's an entire, I could see the whole thing.
Oh, wow, the whole thing.
So I write, Jack, give me your phone. I get my son to give me his phone. I'm taking like 8,000 pictures with his phone. And then I go back in and look, I told you guys I was going to, because they won't get off their phones and their games to come look because they don't give a crap. So I show them on my phone the rainbow, and they're like, oh, yay. And I'm like, you know what? The only thing that would have made it better is if it was a double rainbow. So I'm like, forget you guys. I go back outside. Now the rainbow's bright. At this point, it's gotten really bright. There is a freaking double rainbow. I videotaped it. I have it to this very moment on my phone. I was walking backwards. Every neighbor thinks I'm absolutely crazy at this point. I put it on Facebook. Look, that is my double rainbow. Because why I feel it is because I said that. And
You rendezvoused with it.
no way could anybody make that up. And I'm like, and it was directly above my house. No, but I'm just saying, you never know the crazy, and I was just laughing like, haha, and of course they think I'm crazy, but I have the video on Facebook. I had a video at first of the rainbow, but then when I went out, it's a double rainbow, so I'm like, okay, I just put the double rainbow on Facebook, and nobody could ever understand, but
Good.
that really happened.
So you attracted... You,
I attracted a rainbow.
yeah,
Good
so
job.
the rainbow was there. And right, a double rainbow because you were in alignment and you didn't let your kids pull you out of alignment.
Yeah,
So
you went
good for
ahead
you.
and just had fun.
Okay. All right. Well, and I would recommend if you want to take that to the next level is stop caring what they think. Because
the pot of gold, which I didn't find.
oh, you didn't find the pot of gold. Well, must be something wrong then.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it's
that
a
was a
great
good
story.
story.
It's about rendezvousing, and as you get the hang of this, little things like that will just start appearing all over the place in your life. And that's when you know you're on track. Just look for little things that light you up. It could be anything, like we get front row parking places 80% of the time. Doesn't matter where we go. Doesn't matter how busy it is. Somebody pulls out when we pull up. How does that happen? Right, are we moving them out of the way with our thoughts? No. We're rendezvousing. We're getting guidance moment by moment by moment by moment throughout the day because we're in the receptive mode, which is guiding us towards all the things that matter to us, little and big. And the more that we take the lid off what seems big and know that there's no size limit in the universe, it's just a different door the universe opens, right? It has all the doors. So it opens a different door to the $1 million versus the $5. But you got to be in the belief system, the alignment, to where you get the impulse. All right, let's move on here so we can get time for the exercise, too. Great discussion. This went a lot
thank you.
deeper than I even thought it was going to. Nice
Thank you.
job, guys. Appreciate how you guys track with this. So now you got the 3 steps. Step 1 is ask. That's spontaneous. You don't have any control over that, by the way. When you're awake and you're having awarenesses, you are asking for improvements. They're shooting out of you. You can't stop it. Okay. Step 2 is answer. That's law of attraction. Can't do anything about that either. You can't turn it off. It's like gravity. It's on. And it's always working. So nothing you can do about those, so forget about them. Step 3 is the only thing that matters in this equation. Right? Your job is to find ways to look at things differently that are coming at you, that you've attracted, so you can feel better about them, so you can change what you attract. That's the loop. So steps 4 and 5 now. Step 4 is, and these came through the Abraham material, they're actually both extensions of step 3. Okay, they're amplifications of it. Step 4 is amplify. And step 4 is once you feel yourself in that aligned state, you want to build energy momentum in that direction, okay? Because law of attraction is about momentum. The more energy you get going on the same frequency, the bigger energy you have going, the more attraction force you have. So you don't want to just be happy for 15 seconds and then back to being miserable. You want to get up here, and then you want to stay up here consistently if you can. We call it milking the energy, building momentum. So once you start to feel good, find other things deliberately that will feel good to you. Be intentional, be deliberate about finding other things that feel good that match. So we suggest having things around you that you can go to, kind of a go-to feel good, like petting a cat is very simple, or thinking about your kids if you like your kids, or taking a walk in nature. That kind
Listening
of
to
thing.
your favorite music. Whatever makes you smile and feel good. When you're recognize I am in the zone, I am feeling great, I'm having a great day. Continue focusing on the things that can, and then you'll have such nice strong momentum. Now you're in step 4, which is a nice consistent in alignment, good feeling place.
So law of attraction is about two things. It's about the frequency of the signal, and it's about the amount of time you stay on the signal, which we call momentum. It only takes 17 seconds of being consistently in one place without varying before you start to attract multiple thought streams on the same frequency. So if you're up here in passion or joy about something and you stay there because of whatever you're focused on, you'll start to bring in more passion and joy. 17 seconds is how long it takes to get other thoughts going on different subjects, and you can test this. You look back and think about when you got something really good going or something not really good going, and think, where did that start? How did I get here? And you think back, you'll realize there was a trigger point at some point that got you on a subject, and then you stuck on that subject, and then all these other thought streams started to show up, all on the same emotion, the same frequency. That's momentum. After only 68 seconds, it's even less than that now, law of attraction has enough energy in motion. Again, if you don't vary the focus, if you're consistently in that emotion, to start moving physical things around. That's how quick it happens. So you get 17 seconds to start complaining, boys and girls. And after that, guess what? You start in momentum. So be very careful about what you're thinking if you don't want to have to dig yourself back out of a negative hole with your thoughts. Because eventually thoughts turn into things. 68 seconds is all it takes to get the momentum started. So we want to be aligned, which is up here at the top, and we want to stay up there and build momentum up there so that now things start coming at us that we want, that feel good to us. So that's step 4, is amplifying of step 3. And then step 5 is accept. And accept means you're going to accept that step 1 is good. When you have a negative experience, it's good. Why? Why is a negative experience good? You learn from it. You get clarity, right? And you created the desires. Desires are not created anywhere else except in step 1. So everything that exists, all the expansion of you, the evolution of you, comes from step 1 when you have negative experiences. That's where you get all your clarity. That's where you create all your desires. It's an essential part of the creative process.
Yeah, when it's not feeling good, I've learned over and over again, it's really just a clarifying moment for me, all the way back from when I just, maybe it really would be nice if I had a spiritual man. I didn't have that thought before. I had to go through 2 marriages before I had that thought. And then I finally had a clarifying moment that, wow, this would really be nice. That's why you might actually repeat some painful experiences until you finally have the clarifying moment that will move you into a happier, more enjoyable life. Because it's always up to you, the perspective of things and the way you're going to look at them. You get to pick your thoughts. No one's picking them for you. And that's why sometimes we do repeat things. And, once you understand how this all works and you practice it more, you can definitely know that you do not have to continue to repeat painful experiences. You might still be presented with things, but you'll have much easier ways to learn how to accept them, allow them, and embrace them. Step 5, embrace the contrast, because it's another clarifying moment.
One of the things that we do a lot in the society is we blame ourselves. We blame each other, first of all, for things. And you can see blame is right about there. So blaming somebody else for anything at all, anything they said, anything they did, doesn't mean anything because you attracted it. Right? You were just on that frequency. So one of the things that can happen, and I'm just going to give you the heads up right now, is when we start attracting things we don't want, all of a sudden there's that awareness like, oh, I attracted that. Darn. I can't blame my neighbor. I can't blame my mother. I can't blame my kids, right? I attracted it. You attract everything. And so the natural tendency based on our society, which is a society full of victims, right? Full of victims, we're all doing this, is once we realize we're doing this to ourselves, is to go down here at the bottom. Guilt or powerlessness. When we beat ourselves up for attracting something that we shouldn't have. Right? So as we just said, there's no bad emotions. Step 5 is really important in letting you off the hook for yourself. If you attract something you don't want, learn from it and move on. Let it go. Let it go. Do not beat yourself up for making mistakes. There are no mistakes. There's only clarifying moments. You're guiding the ship, and you never get it done. You're an eternal being. Your consciousness will be here forever. The bodies come and go. The consciousness is here forever. You can't get it wrong because you're never done. You're always recorrecting. Every thought, you're recorrecting the ship. So you're always driving the thing. It doesn't matter how far off the road you get. You can always bring it back. There is no off the road. vibrationally speaking.
And a quick example is when his daughter called us when we were driving over and just gotten rear-ended. The police hadn't come yet. She was crying, and she was feeling so bad. I wish I would have, she was feeling guilty. She understood she left the house in bad energy, and then there was all these other things. But what was nice, because we all know how to work, and we weren't sitting in her shoes, he just encouraged her, it's okay, you don't have to feel bad. It's a clarifying moment. You'll understand how to work with your insurance. I mean, it's all these wonderful supportive ways. I really like that, by the way. Good job, Dad.
I love my daughter. and I love that we're on the same path, because she understands when I say these things what I mean, and she doesn't beat herself up. Well, she does sometimes. Her mom doesn't understand this stuff. But I love that she picks that up. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to practice step 4 a little bit. Does that sound like fun? That's the feeling good step, right? Okay, so that's why we had you guys grab paper. If you don't have a piece of paper, the ladies, everybody, Deb's on it. Apparently everybody's got a piece of paper. You couldn't get past her without one. If you don't have one, there we got some.
Out in the foyer there. Kathy, we need one up here, I think, if you don't mind. You missed one, Deborah. How did you do that?
Blame me.
It's all okay.
Everything's always working out.
Anybody else?
All right. So
over here on this side?
Over here on... You got a couple? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice. We've already amplified the energy. I don't know if you guys can feel it. Most of you guys are pretty much tracking with us. Hopefully you feel a little bit better than you did when you walked in the door today. Anybody feeling really bad now? I hope not.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Not my fault. So what we want to do then is to take this energy that we've captured by being in this room and having this discussion and milk it. We're going to practice step 4 right now. So what you're going to do is we're going to give you a few minutes, maybe 3-4 minutes, to start writing a list of things that feel good to you. And you can use appreciation, things that you appreciate that are in your life right now. You can start by this meeting if you want. What are things that make you feel good or that you appreciate right now? Just start writing. Whatever comes into your head, doesn't matter. Just start writing.
Be simple.
Yep. And if you get stuck, that's okay. Just stop and rest. So we'll give you 3 minutes or so here. Anything that feels good to you. What you should notice is that it'll get easier as you start. As you get going here, 17 seconds, and you'll get another thought stream of what feels good. Another 17 seconds, it'll get better. Just let it flow. Got another minute or so. Just let that good feeling wash over you. Just let it all in. think you guys are doing pretty good there. See a lot of flurries of activity here. All right, so when you've finished your list there, now what you're going to do is we're going to spend 1 minute. This will be your 68 second. You're already past 68 seconds. We're going to milk it a little bit more. Just read over your list one more time and feel each one of the entries. And if they don't light you right up, just scribble it off. Just feel each entry. Just look at each one and just feel it. How does it feel? They all feel good, yeah. Good answer. You're getting the hang of this, Steve. So this is the process. Right? You have a list of things you appreciate that make you feel good. You can add to this list forever, the rest of your life. And if in 6 months something doesn't feel good anymore, scribble it off the list. Right? Make it a point, if you can, regularly, at least once a week, maybe even every day, to add one thing to your list. Deb, question?
Well, this kind of gave me a realization about something.
You had a realization about what?
Well, let me tell you. I was going through the list, and a lot of my things were kind of relating, kind of, like here I got into landscapes and oceans and then trees and flowers, and somehow bees popped in my head. And I'm going, I kept resisting writing it down. I'm going, that's stupid. But then I realized I do appreciate bees now. Remember the problem I had with bees?
Yeah.
Well, I feel differently about bees now, and they don't bother me anymore.
Wow.
And I walk right through them because they're hanging around my flowers, and I'll walk right through them. And I just feel differently, so I think that's why they're not bothering me anymore.
Good for you. Wow. That's powerful.
Good job.
Really powerful. Deb actually manifested, I think it was about a year ago, had a bad bee manifestation and got some guidance from somebody we had in doing intuitive work, how to make peace with them, and they went away.
Yeah, it was wild. Anybody else want to share some fun things on your list?
Shoes that fit and clothes that fit. That make me happy. It does.
Yeah. Clothes that fit. Nothing better than clothes that look good on us.
I hate tight clothes.
Who else
Anybody
wants
else?
to share? Because that was the next step we were going to do anyways, is share some of these. Yeah, just give us one thing or two things. Not the whole thing, just a couple.
The thing is, I wasn't really going into the gym much, and then I figured I should put that together where it's like, okay, so it's repetition. People don't like to work out. They feel like, okay, like lethargic or sluggish. When you start doing it, you actually start feeling better. And then you want to do more of it. So I just took it to that, and now I have 2 gym memberships. So I'm making time for both morning and night.
Wow. Okay, there you go. Feels good. There's somebody in the back there. Yeah, and one up here.
When you said that, I was laughing because on my list, it was fitness. Last year, I had got like the highest weight that I ever had. And this year I said, I'm just going to just go to the gym and do what I need to do. And it's funny because, it started coming here and I just said, when I go, I feel good. So instead of me thinking of it as exercise, think of it as, this makes me feel so good. So I joined a Zumba class. And so I've been going to the Zumba class like faithfully is the truth is the way. And so it was funny because yesterday in my class, my instructor asked me to come up with her and do it in front of everybody because she said I was doing so great and I've got the moves down. And so I was like, yeah. and it's funny, I love it, and I've picked up water aerobics, and then ironic, my instructor asked me to start coming up to LA when we finish the summer program because she wants me to train with her and she thinks that I would make a good instructor.
Wow. Congratulations.
So
Perfect.
I'm excited, yeah.
Perfect manifestation. That's how it's done.
Anybody else want to?
In the back there?
Okay. This is along the lines when somebody was saying they were putting like some things together and there was a theme.
I found that when I put some of the things together, like traveling and enjoying a really fantastic meal, and then being with someone you love, and then putting all those three things together really, really, makes me feel wonderful.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's the amplification.
Yep, that's fun.
And what's interesting, so we've heard several examples of where we got on one subject and then the next topic followed, right?
Yeah,
momentum. That's law of attraction,
momentum.
right?
Did you want to share one?
You trigger one thought and then other ones come that match it vibrationally. Great demonstration.
Anybody else?
Anybody else have anything good on their list that they want to share, or are they all R-rated here?
No, okay.
Don't need to know that one.
All right.
TMI. Very nice. So,
Yeah, thanks.
So how did that feel? Did you guys enjoy that? Yeah, definitely a lot of smiles out there. Yeah, so that's the process. It's that simple. So that's one of many, many ways to feel good. This is being deliberate, right? You're taking charge of your thoughts. You're not just letting the news or whatever's happening, bounce into your life and then responding. Right? That's what most of society does. We look at, this bad thing happened, now I'm going to feel bad, I'm going to tell all my friends about it, put it on Facebook, right? Got one more question.
I just want to say something about responding.
Okay.
I think people respond too fast sometimes to negative things. My sister and I, she doesn't live here, she's in New York, and she's going to have a baby in October, which I'm super excited about because I'm going to be, an auntie. And I have my own children, so they'll be playing together. But she was sending me some really negative text messages, and I decided to not respond. I literally woke up, and I deleted them.
Ah, good for you.
And what was it? Within a week, she wrote back to me apologizing out of nowhere. And her personality can be sometimes very different than mine. She has a very strong personality. And out of nowhere, she was like, I da-da-da-da. And I didn't respond like, yeah, you needed to. No, I would just, you know what? The pregnancy hormones, I've been there. LOL, can't wait to meet the baby. Done.
There you go. Perfect
That's
job.
how strong an influencers we are. Yeah.
So that's really powerful. So you all hear the power in that? Right?
Yeah.
Something came at her, and there might have been some vibration around, a little negative, that caused it to come at you for some clarification, but then you took it and you got the clarification that, okay, I need to step it up even more and get back into my zone, getting back to my space. And she created the exact outcome that she wanted by not even trying to create an outcome. You just took care of yourself. Got back into
That is the key.
That is the key. You got to let the world bounce off, no matter how bad it is, how much it looks like somebody's doing something to somebody. That's why we don't even turn the TV on anymore. We just record programs that we like, cooking programs or house building programs. You can't really go wrong there, even though sometimes they got a problem. They always come back at the end.
And don't worry, you won't miss the news because the news gets around. You can go out and you'll hear it from somebody else. So just keep that good stuff in your life, what you want to watch and what you want to think about, and it's amazing how your life can change.
So your homework, should you decide to accept it, is to read and feel your list like you did in that last part of the exercise every morning. First thing when you wake up, because that's when you have a momentum reset. Right? Because it's the thoughts that create the momentum, right? Thoughts are what are being sent out and being reflected back by the law of attraction. It's the amplifier of everything. And that's the only reason we go down the scale is we think ourselves down the scale, right? That this is a separation from who we are. We're thinking thoughts. When you go to sleep, you stop thinking. When you stop thinking, guess what? You're back to the top. Because the top is where the other 99% of you is. The broader intelligence part of you is only pure positive, pure love, pure high energy frequency. And so when you're not thinking yourselves away from it, you'll flow back up to the top. So every night you get a reset. So what you can do is then when you first wake up, before you start thinking about your day, before you start thinking about anything, take that list out and just look at and just take, all it takes is 68 seconds. And go down the list and just feel into each one of those items. Let it wash over you. Let that energy just flow through you. And guess what's going to happen for your whole day? You started the leverage, right? You started the ball rolling in that direction. It's going to take a lot to knock it off. A lot more than it would if you just started your day randomly. Does that make sense? Kathy, you got something?
Did you have your hand up?
This is how Suzanne gets her exercise. Oh, yeah. Okay, so
Yes, they were so sweet.
our good friend Susan, okay.
Go ahead, yeah.
So Susan took it upon herself. She was so inspired by this subject because she's been really digging into the law of attraction material recently.
The five-step process.
She was so inspired to research through the Abraham recordings. Abraham-Hicks people have tens of thousands of workshop recordings that are available, a lot of them on YouTube. And so she did research on all of these 5 steps from this pure material and pulled out quotes for everybody and typed it up and had copies made for all you guys. Isn't that wonderful? Let's give Susan a big round of applause.
Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Susan.
That was a lot of
Such
time.
a wonderful thing.
Yes.
That's inspired action at its best.
Yeah.
Right? And so what did she do in that process? She milked the energy, right? She was reading this powerful positive energy, this understanding of it. Do you have a question? Or?
But Abraham-Hicks is going to be in Chicago in September.
In September,
I think
yeah.
the 25th, and I'm going to be there.
All right. Well, certainly.
Someone there that you'll know.
Yeah, sometimes we've been to Chicago a couple times. That's as close as they get to Detroit. They were in Detroit like 15 years ago or something. We scared them away, I think.
When I came here tonight, I wanted to know more about step 5, and look at how much I've been talking about.
Yeah, yay.
You bet.
And you
Nice
didn't even
attraction.
realize. Now you got the printout. Yay.
Yes. So
Asking
this
is
is
given.
Susan's little gift to you guys. Give you a little bit more detail, right from the horse's mouth, as it were.
And
To
Susan's computer.
Yeah, Susan's computer.
Or whatever that was.
So that's your homework. So let's start our wrap up here. This has been an excellent, high energy, high vibration conversation. Thank you.
We really appreciate it when you all just jump in and participate. That's what it's all about.
So what have we learned today? Well, there's a 5-step process. The primary 3 steps are ask, answer, and align. The only one that you care about is alignment. It's the only thing you can do anything about. The other 2 steps are just amplifiers of step 3. So you're amplifying step 4 and accepting that step 1 is okay. There's no bad things going on in your life unless you label them as that, and then you'll get more of them. So don't do that. What else have you learned? Anybody else have an awareness today that I haven't covered already? Did something pop up? Anybody? Oh, we got it covered. All right. So what are you going to do differently based on what you learned today? I want 2 people. What are you going to commit to yourselves to do differently based on having been here tonight? It can be anything. What are you going to do differently?
Think about positive things in the morning.
Think about positive things in the morning. All right, there you go. I've heard the commitment.
So you write down what you're grateful for. At least that way it puts you in a good mood. It puts you in a positive mood. What makes you feel good? Yeah. So once you start feeling good, you're going to start to attract the things that you desire, and it just comes in.
That's so true. So thank you, because you cannot feel good and feel bad at the same time.
Yeah. And appreciation is right here, number 1 at the top. It's the highest frequency. Right on the
I have a gratitude journal that I write in every day, but I really like this list of just things that make you feel good. And so anytime, even if I don't have the printed list with me, but anytime somebody cuts you off in traffic, whatever is bad, even though it's not necessarily bad, but if I just start pulling on those things, what are things that make me feel good? Looking at fresh cut flowers or walking in the woods or petting my dog. If I think about those things, I'll forget whatever it was that was
There you go.
bad.
Took your power back in that moment. Good for you. And one more, Robert.
In my notes, I have that the only criteria for everything that we do is that it has to feel good. So that's what I'm going to practice. And I don't know how much work I'm going to get done at work, but somehow I'm going to make it. I'm going to feel good.
You might surprise yourself what happens. I want to hear that story when you come back next month.
Next month you can tell us.
He's going to be the CEO of the company. Excellent.
Oh.
All right. Okay. Thought I saw another hand. All right. So we got some learnings and some commitments you guys made yourself. Take it on. Try it for 21 days. See what happens. This is life-changing stuff here because you're taking this scale right here is an exponential scale of energy flow. And when you're down here, which a lot of us are, and you just move up from 22 to 21, you've doubled the flow of source through you. And when you go from 21 to 20, you've doubled it again. It's an exponential scale. And so guess what? You go up to here, 1 to 22, that's a 2 raised to the 22nd power. Anybody in computers know that?
Who's into math?
It's 4 million to 1. Okay. So that's the kind of power that you get. And that tells you also how few people are doing this work. Right? The true leaders in our world are the ones who have figured out how to consistently get themselves up here regardless of what's going on. It's what Gandhi did. He mobilized over 1 billion Indians to defeat the British Army without raising a weapon, right? Because he understood the power of this scale, and he got a bunch of people all up in this energy. At first, they had to take the hits, right? They were being attacked pretty brutally for a while by the British. He just out-vibrated them. He kept himself up here long enough until he got his country back. Okay, Martin Luther King, same thing. Right? So all the great leaders you'll find out understand this at a visceral level. They might not understand the mechanics behind it, but they understand how it works. And that's why as you guys are doing this, you become those leaders. Doesn't mean you have to go and run for president or whatever, although I wish one of you would. But whatever you're doing, life is going to start getting better. And as you're radiating this, you're going to influence the people around you. And they're going to wonder what you're doing. How is it that things are starting to work out for you? Why are you happy all the time? What's wrong with you? Right? Well, you just smile, say, I know something.
It feels good to
and maybe you'll share it
feel
with them.
good.
Right.
It does.
So it takes a little faith, and I think most of you guys have that this actually works, right? Some of this is pretty nebulous. You think about higher consciousness and law of attraction. You can't test any of it, right? You can't do a scientific measurement because it's outside the three-dimensional time-space reality. So you got to have faith until you prove it to yourself. Practice it. You got to practice too. So that's what we say every day for 21 days, build that habit, see what happens. And then have patience. When you fall down into step 1 and you don't get it right, no such thing, right? Everything is right. Don't beat yourself up. Just be nice. Just pat yourself on the back and say, it's okay, Kevin. Okay, I'm gonna start going back in the positive direction again. Don't beat yourself up for being down the scale, because that'll just hold you down there. It's like holding your own head underwater. Don't do that. Right, give yourself a break there. All right, so open networking after the meeting here in just a minute or two. Next meetup is September 15th. That'll be how to easily attract more clients for those of you who are in business for yourself or have your own or work in a business. We'll cover the same basic material, so even if you don't have a business or you're not in business, still is going to be a lively discussion, so don't let
And
that
it can,
get you out.
if you aren't in business where you want to attract clients, it could be how to attract your ideal relationship. It's about people, attracting the kind of people you want.
And so all the meetups through the end of December are now up on the website. I'll send out announcements. They haven't been announced, but you can, if you want to sign up, you can sign up for them just by going back to the Billionaires Club. And quote from our favorite teachers, Abraham-Hicks, alignment trumps everything. There's nothing more powerful in the universe than your aligned energy. So it's the power that runs the universe. Harness it, and you can have, be, or do anything that you can dream. So thanks for coming, guys. Have a wonderful month.
Thank you.
Nice job.